The ripple effect of kindness. Laura, a young woman with a warm heart, moved to a small town seeking a fresh start. She hoped to make friends but found the town a bit reserved. One day while running errands she saw an elderly man struggling to carry his groceries. Without hesitation she offered to help. The man, Mr. Thompson, smiled, his eyes twinkling. He was touched by her kindness. They chatted as they walked and he shared stories of his life and his late wife, feeling comforted by Laura's listening ear. The next day, Laura visited a local coffee shop, where she saw the young barista, Emma, looking downcast. Remembering Mr. Thompson's words, Laura struck up a friendly conversation with Emma, who shared that she was nervous about her college entrance exams. Laura reassured her and shared some encouraging words. Emma felt lighter, and when Laura left she couldn't stop smiling. Inspired, Emma decided to take her grandmother out to lunch that afternoon, a rare treat she hadn't had time for in months. Her grandmother, delighted, laughed and shared stories which warmed Emma's heart. Emma didn't realize it, but her grandmother had been feeling lonely. This gesture meant the world to her. That afternoon, Emma's grandmother, Mrs. Harper, went to her weekly knitting circle, feeling especially joyful. The group often made small talk, but this time Mrs. Harper spoke about the wonderful time she'd had with Emma and reminded everyone to cherish their families. Her friend June listened closely. She hadn't spoken to her daughter in years due to an old argument. Moved by Mrs. Harper's words, June decided to reach out and call her daughter that evening. Their conversation, hesitant at first, slowly warmed up, and they agreed to meet over coffee the following week. Meanwhile, back in town, Laura's kindness continued spreading in little waves. She started helping out at a community kitchen on weekends, which drew the attention of some passers-by who eventually joined her. They became a team, organizing meals for anyone who needed a warm plate. One Saturday they prepared a big meal and Laura invited Mr. Thompson to join. He came with a bag of fresh vegetables he'd picked from his garden as a gift, eager to contribute to the kindness he had experienced. One of the new volunteers, Jake, was a single father who rarely socialized outside of work. Seeing Laura's efforts to bring people together inspired him, and he found himself enjoying the friendly atmosphere. On his way home he stopped by a small flower shop and bought his daughter Lily her favorite flowers, something he'd always meant to do but had never gotten around to. Lily was overjoyed and proudly displayed the flowers in their kitchen, thrilled by her dad's thoughtful gesture. She felt so inspired that, the next day at school, she decided to help a classmate who'd been struggling with a project. The classmate, Tyler, was shy and often alone. Lily's willingness to help made him feel seen and valued. He shared this with his teacher, who then encouraged Tyler to join a group project. Tyler, boosted by Lily's kindness, began opening up, discovering that he had a knack for creativity. Over time he blossomed and his classmates welcomed him as a friend. His self-confidence grew and he became more engaged in school activities. As the weeks went by, the town seemed to be changing in subtle ways. Conversations in shops and parks became warmer, neighbors waved more often, and people began to look out for one another. Laura's small acts had indeed created a ripple effect, spreading kindness that touched lives far beyond her initial gestures. Then one winter evening, Laura received an unexpected letter in the mail. It was from the town council inviting her to an annual community dinner. She hadn't realized her kindness had caught the attention of so many, and when she arrived she was greeted by smiling faces and warm hugs. Mr. Thompson, Emma, Mrs. Harper, Jake, and even young Tyler were all there, each having been touched by Laura's simple acts of kindness in some way. They had shared their stories, inspiring even more people. At the dinner, the mayor stood and shared the story of how one woman's generosity had transformed the town. He presented Laura with a small plaque, recognizing her for her kindness and her role in strengthening the community's spirit. As Laura looked around the room, she felt a deep joy and connection. She hadn't set out to change the town, she'd simply wanted to be kind. But seeing how her actions had spread, she realized the true power of kindness. Moral of the story: one small act of kindness can spark a ripple effect that reaches far beyond what we can see. Simple gestures, when shared with sincerity, have the power to bring people together, transforming communities and enriching lives in beautiful, unexpected ways.